All right, I'm excited to get into this. I was just going to post a recording that I did. Oh my gosh, constantly covered in cat hair. Hi, Pearl. Hey. She looks like Lady Gaga. She's channeling Lady Gaga, or like that Michael Jackson album that came out after he passed. I don't know if you know the cover that I'm talking about. Anyways, hi. I'm going to put you down because you keep whacking the microphone. Oh, and it's really loud. Anyways, I was going to post a different video and go to bed. But I don't know. It just feels like there's a message that needs to come through, and I don't know what it is. There was nothing channeled ahead of time, but it feels like a very excited energy, which is funny because I personally am very tired. So we're going to get into it. Oh, gosh. We've been doing much cat cuddling today, and so I'm just covered in cat hair. There's nothing I can do about it. Anyways, how was your day? How are you? Okay. Let's go. If you don't know me, my name is Andrea. I'm trained as a therapist. I work as a coach. I am a professional oracle and tarot reader. Long-haired cat. Oh my gosh. It's a lifestyle. And I'm a professional DJ. You can go and check out all the things. Let's see what we need to know. Hi, buddy. No, you can't come up here. She's not happy with the cone. But she's allergic to something. So we're probably just allergic to each other. If you ever wonder why I have such a red nose, it's because I just constantly have an itchy nose. They do say that that means that you're channeling. It's like a psychic thing. Itchy nose means you're channeling, but I think it's a combination of that and just probably being allergic to my own cat. Okay. Let's see what we got. What does the collective need to know right now? Ooh, almost came out. Didn't. Caught it at the last second. What does the collective need to know? Before I go to bed. Oh dear, that's a lot. Okay. All right. There was a lot that just came out. Oh my goodness, itchy nose. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. I apologize if I do. Excuse me. Okay. Struggle is real. Okay, so we have the Magician. This came out, and it was the one that was on the top. There were other ones that were, like, turned down. But there were 5 of them that came out. Oh my gosh, really itchy nose. Anyways, this is the Master Manifester. This is you recognizing that you have, usually it's on a table. This is kind of like a reinterpretation of the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. But this individual has all of the elements. So there's a sword, which represents air energy, logic, reason, the mind. Cups, water energy, which is emotions and love. 1 second. Oh, there you go. She likes to hang out in the closet. Pentacles, which represents earth energy, right? Tangible things, your 3D reality, the things around you. So health, wealth, career, finance, education, institution, things like that. And then we also have the wands, which represents fire energy. So creativity, like the creative spark. It's the ability to alchemize. It's the transformer. It's a transformational energy, for lack of a better word. And this individual has another wand in their hand, and they're holding it up, which is it's like being able to channel. I feel like maybe my lights are too flashy right now. We're trying something new. But they channel ideas from the ethers, if you will, or the 5D into the 3D, which is like tangible reality. It's turning thought, idea into form. That is manifestation. It's not as woo-woo as people think. It's like conceive of an idea, imagine it so vividly that it feels like it can be real, and then you take action in order to make it real. That's how manifestation works. And then there's like a trust factor involved in just allowing things to unfold in the timing that is meant for it to unfold in. Anyways, that's what this is about. You are recognizing, it's also major arcana, big deal, big lesson on your path, your journey. You know that you can manifest it. You know that you can have it. Like, if you don't know that by now you know. You can do it. Please trust me when I say this. I have manifested incredible things in my life. In fact, we're constantly manifesting. Now, I don't mean that in the sense that, like, oh, you think a negative thought and it manifests bad things into your life. Like, no. Come on. We need to recognize there's nuance, and bad things happen in this world all the time that are either inexplicable or they're due to other people doing bad things, and then those things and those people having consequences that impact other people around them. You don't magically manifest. I always use natural disasters as the example. Sorry, just keeping tabs on the cat. You don't manifest an earthquake. You don't manifest a flood. You don't manifest a war, though somebody else did. Hang on. Ma'am. She's up to no good. I swear, she's up to no good. Anyways, the point is, you need to understand, and I think that you do, but maybe there's like there is a block, because the last one that I turned around is the Page of Wands in reverse. So we'll come back around to this, but you understand that you can have and can manifest, can make things happen in your life. That's way more than you thought before. You've woken up to that. Now, the tricky part is the belief in yourself, and the belief that you will have it. The belief that, like, there's like how you can, like whether you can and whether you can. Whether you can as in, is that possible? And you know that it is. And then the other, whether you can, which is, are you specifically going to be able to do it? One is like, is this a possibility in this reality? Like, could you? And will you? Like, can you? Yes. Can you? You don't know. What you do know is that you're not satisfied with the things that are in front of you. And the thing about this is that when you don't have gratitude for your current situation, and I'm not trying to like use toxic positivity to put, I call it putting glitter on the turd. Like, if life sucks right now, or it's a really bad situation, I'm not trying to make light of that. What I am saying is that when we're not able to, just love how this person's sweatshirt says over it. They just look like they're so over it. They're looking at these cups and sitting there with their arms crossed going, this is not what I want. This is not something that brings me joy or satisfaction. Like, this is not it. And when we are not being grateful for what we do have, maybe not our situation, but for the things that we do have, the blessings that we do have, which is our responsibility, plus it just makes life more enjoyable, it's our responsibility to take note, right? Even if it's not ideal. When we're not being grateful for the goodness that we do have, it's like a closed energy. We're not open to receiving more or better. I feel like I used this example in the previous video, but they all get mixed up, and there's some overlap with the channels. But when you are, it's like trying to give a gift to a child who just keeps being like, I don't want this. This isn't the color I wanted. This isn't, it's not what I put on my wish list or whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, it's nicer to receive something that you actually wanted. But there's something the gratitude that when we are not grateful for things and we don't express thanks because it's not quite what it is that we wanted, it's like you would stop feeling as motivated or inclined to keep giving gifts to someone who just, oh God, it's nose, channeling hard. You would probably not be as inclined to give gifts to the person who just like never appreciates what you give them. It kind of feels like you would probably stop trying after a while. So this isn't saying that you have to like everything that you have in your life. There's probably tons of stuff you don't like. There's many things that I do not like in life. And at the same time, I enjoy my life a lot more when I find things to appreciate. When I find little things that light me up, but it's my choice as to whether they're going to light me up. It's very suspicious sounds coming out of my closet right now. Anyways, so you know that you can manifest more, and you're in a situation where you're recognizing that you're not happy with the way that things are right now. But because we're not practicing, I know it sounds so cheesy, but the attitude of gratitude, because we're not doing that, like the arms are crossed and they're over it. Wrong side. Everything's like kind of backwards. You're not seeing what's being offered. There are alternatives, there are opportunities, but it's like vibing at a frequency of consciousness where you're not looking for opportunities. You're not open to seeing things from a different angle. You're not able to receive gifts that are being offered to you because, maybe it's just because you're in a funk. I know it's hard to just have someone be like, you should be grateful, or if you were just grateful and things like, sometimes that's really freaking hard to hear and tough to do. So I want you to know that. Like, I get it. And when you are ready to turn that around in your own mind and in your own heart and your own consciousness and level of awareness, like your mindset, this is really ancient knowledge. Like the I think it's Hermeticism and like just these really, really ancient teachings. They all talk about, all different spiritual paths, they talk about how the universe, the mind, reality is mental. So much of what we experience around us is occurring in the mind. Everything that we experience is a perception. Like, yes, there are things that are happening outside of our body. There's stuff going on. There is reality. But our reality that we are perceiving all goes through the filter of our senses and our mind, which is our mental interpretation, the meaning that we assign to the things, right? So your mindset is hugely important, and your ability to look at life through the mindset of there's a gift in this. Even if it doesn't feel great, there's a gift in this somewhere. And the more you practice looking for that gift, easier said than done, the better life will start to feel. And when you start to feel better, genuinely, not faking it, but genuinely feel better, that's when your reality starts to shift. Truly, you don't need to feel good all the time, but your mindset can determine what identity you are embodying. So for example, you want to feel, I'm learning about like the identity of a CEO. I'm in a business course. It's fascinating stuff. But that identity of the CEO is not one that I've thought that much about. I've just been like business owner, content creator, therapist, coach, DJ, tarot reader, whatever other identities that I've embodied so far. But CEOs have good days and they have bad days and they have moods just as much as, the average person does. It's not about the mood. The frequency is about the identity. Can you maintain an identity, a mindset, even if the emotions don't feel good all the time. When you start to practice this, you do start to feel better. And you don't need to feel better all the time. When you start practicing that it's like manifestation truly is one of the most healing things I've ever encountered, because it requires so much of us when it comes to our internal work. You're motivated to manifest things in your life, experiences, changes, especially if you're not happy. I hope that you're happy, but if you're not and you want to make changes, it starts from the inside. I know it's annoying to hear that, but it's true. And that is the root of the teachings about manifestation. It's about changing your mindset, which influences your emotions, which does influence your options, the invitations that you receive, the way that other people perceive you, and whether or not they want to do business with you or do you a favor or collaborate or whatever it may be. Your identity is tied to this frequency. Are you embodying the frequency of leadership, the CEO identity, the identity of success, the identity of your future self who has what it is that you want, if you choose to look at it that way? You have the power to manifest. What you are getting stuck on is not being satisfied with what is currently happening in your environment, your reality. So maybe it's your job, it's your relationship, it's your current bank account, it's the options that are available to you or that you perceive as being available to you right now, which I get the sense is seemingly limited. Things maybe just don't feel good and you feel stuck. But this hand right here is the hand of the divine trying to hand you this cup of love, right? The water element, love, emotions, opportunity, fertility. That's what that energy is. And it's like, you've got to open your eyes. You have to look at what you have right now as resources to be worked with, not things to reject because they're not good enough. Like, this is what you got. So it's not just about what you have, it's what you do with what you have. And on top of that, it's how you do it, which is linked to your identity, right? Someone who believes that they can manifest is going to use their resources in general, but they're also going to use them in a clever way, in a resourceful way, as opposed to someone who either A, doesn't believe that they can manifest, so they don't do anything with the resources that they have, or they do think they can manifest, but they don't really believe in themselves. That's where that how you do it, how you use your resources, really shows up differently. Because if you don't truly believe, yeah, you can just go through the motions, and if you just keep going, eventually the thing may manifest. But it's through forcing as opposed to attracting, magnetizing, and that comes through the embodiment of the identity. You can do it. What you're not understanding is that we got Temperance. This is another major arcana. Wow, we got 3 major arcanas out of 5 cards. That's very impressive. Temperance is speaking to balance. You're thinking that you need to do it all at once, that the success is just going to happen instantly. I'm going to give a personal example. I've had a couple things happen in the past year that really launched my DJ career. You know, I'm still not a somebody in a large capacity, but like kind of in my city, sort of. But, you know, these certain things that happened just launched me. It was like a slingshot. It happened really quickly. But then things slowed down and there's not as much movement. But I got used to the momentum of these big things sort of pushing me forward and having this good luck. And it wasn't just luck. I put in so many hours of work and practice, and there's a lot that goes into being in the music industry. It's not just playing music or making music. It's marketing. It's identity work. It's admin, it's social media, I like the digging for music part. It's the practice, right? But maybe you're like what I have been guilty of, which is the expectation that it's going to keep going at warp speed and it's always going to work out in my favor. Maybe you're feeling like it's not happening fast enough. And the Temperance card is letting you know that it's about balance. Now, there's no such thing as a full like work-life balance, especially, I know this now from experience, when you become an entrepreneur. Like, there is no 9 to 5. I try to set 9 to 5 hours for myself. I've been getting good at it with the co-working thing, but like, I like to work out in the middle of the day. Why would I sit inside when I see the sun is out like between 2 and 4? I like to schedule my break then, and then I see clients in the evening because that's when they're done work and I can work with them, right? But you can try to plan your schedule as best as you can, but there is no such thing as balance. You're going to go through these like sprints and then more relaxed periods when it comes to your life, your growth, your transformation, your manifestation. Sometimes life is going to feel very exciting. Sometimes life is going to feel really boring. Sometimes you're going to feel really powerful and like you can manifest all sorts of things. And other times you're going to feel stuck and like nothing's moving. So the lesson here, what, the universe is trying to tell you is that it's not going to happen overnight. And it's not supposed to. One of my mentors talks about how success is the byproduct. It's the result of the person you become in building what it is that you want to build, in working towards your vision. It's about who you become. It's about who you are. It's about how you transform on the journey, not just what does your bank account look like? How many clients do you have? The greatest level of transformation for myself and my business has actually come from a period of time when it was like the clients just fell away. And ultimately it was because the type of people I work with changed. So the old clients weren't aligned anymore, and that's fine. That's okay. That happens. But it was just so funny being like, oh my gosh, where are my people? Where's my income? Where's my career? It's like, well, your career is changing. But it's in being, and now I work with people in this void space between one identity, one life, one phase, and the next one, because it can be intimidating being in that void space. So I like to help people because boy, have I been there, right? And you will not just go and be in that void space once in your life. You will experience it many, many times. You are being asked to be patient. Not only does temperance represent balance, it represents having a balanced perspective on your life, patience, being okay with things like the ebb and flow. It doesn't mean that you're not moving forward. You are moving forward, but it's not always at warp speed. It's not supposed to be. The point of the journey is so that you become the person who can have and hold, create, have and hold, maintain, expand, scale, transform the vision that you have. Otherwise, it's just a daydream. You've got to be the person who can, like, you're a person who you've allowed yourself permission, like, finally, to dream, like, to have a vision. If you're interested in manifestation, go listen to Neville Goddard. There's recordings and there's books and there's all this stuff. He's the goat of manifestation. But Neville talks about how powerful your imagination is, how sacred your imagination is. And he's not talking about daydreaming, because daydreaming, as fun as that is, you're not doing anything. It feels good in the moment because your unconscious can't tell the difference between something vividly imagined and something that's real. Your unconscious, obviously your conscious brain knows, right? But this is why you jump when there's like a scary movie with a jump scare. You jump and then you laugh it off. It's because your unconscious, your nervous system, thought it was real. And then your conscious mind laughs about it because it's like, obviously it's not real. It's just a movie. So you have gotten to a point where you're allowing yourself to imagine, and it's bringing up this like excitement coupled with frustration, coupled with fear and motivation. It just can feel so chaotic, and it can feel like pressure. because it can also be stagnation or be perceived as stagnation when really it's just that bow being pulled back further and further, and it will spring forward, but it is not time yet. So you need to chill out and just let the universe surprise you. Let it surprise you. And I've got a lot of mentors, but another mentor, ooh, the lights are going bonkers. She speaks about letting the universe ravish you. And what she's talking about is letting the universe surprise you, to show you, I like to say, hey universe, show me how good it can get. Hey universe, show me how easy it can be. Hey universe, show me 10 times more than I'm imagining. Oh, it's 11:11 on my clock. Love it. So woo-woo, make a wish. Let the universe surprise you, but be open to miracles. Be open to the best kind of surprises. Be open to your manifestations coming in a different form. Be open to your manifestations showing up unexpectedly, beautifully, easily. And remember that it's about the feeling. It's about having a vision and then surrendering. This is where the trust aspect, some people call it faith. It's entirely up to you. Sometimes it's just having confidence. The more confident you are, the more likely that you're going to be able to manifest something that requires your action taking. Your confidence doesn't necessarily dictate the things that are kind of out of your hands. It depends how far down the rabbit hole you want to go with this stuff. But then we have the sun, another major arcana. I love that there's, so sunflowers are my favorite flowers, and they are in both of these cards. The sun is the happiest card in the deck. It's celebration. It is victory. It is revelation. When you put these things that I'm talking about into practice, life will start to feel lighter. If you're going through heaviness right now, things are going to start to feel lighter, but you've got to meet the universe, not even halfway. You take one step and the universe will take a mile, many miles to meet you. But you do have to take that first step. And you can do that in your own mind. The universe is mental. Shifting your perspective, not forcing yourself to be happy, but your happiness will very likely be a result of you shifting your mindset, right? The Page of Wands in reverse was the last card that came out on top of all of these things. And it's interesting because the other four were flipped upright, whereas the Page of Wands was facing down, and I took it anyways and turned it over. This all happened under my desk when everything fell down. The Page of Wands in reverse is, first of all, the page is, it's like the beginner. It's the student. It's the least experienced. It's not immature, but it's not the same as having a king or queen energy. It's just new. It's new, right? And the Page of Wands is like new creativity, new creative project, new creative spark. It's new, whatever it is that you're doing. But it's coming out in reverse, which means that there is a feeling of being blocked. And I don't know if this is a mental block that you're creating for yourself. I'm not going to take any more cards, but I'm sort of seeing like the Eight of Swords in my mind's eye, which is, I call it the toilet paper lady. It's this person who's wrapped up in what is not chains. It just looks like toilet paper, and it's over her eyes too. And she's on the beach, and there's all these swords stuck, 8 of them stuck in the sand. And if she would just take off the blindfold and bust out of the toilet paper, she would see that she's not in a prison. And they are not in a prison. They're just on a beach, and they can walk in between the swords. And what do the swords represent? The air element, thoughts, mind, rationale. It's a mental prison. Maybe other people put those ideas into your head when you were young, but you've maintained the belief system. So now that you know, now that you are conscious, you can change it. But that is a practice. You got to do it. So I don't know if the block when it comes to this Page of Wands energy Is it a mindset thing, or is it a matter of you don't have the right equipment to do whatever creative or like supplies that you need for your creative project? I wanted a fancy camera at one point. I'm recording on my laptop right now. Sometimes I use my cell phone. I like using the laptop, honestly. You don't, like my ring light, I think was maybe $20. You know, you don't have to use a fancy microphone. Someone gifted me this one, so the universe provides, but also you could just use the one on your phone or your laptop. I'm talking to the content creators here, but you want to learn how to DJ? Go rent some equipment. If you can't rent it, find someone who has it and ask if they'd be willing to give you a lesson, maybe in exchange for whatever your special skill is. Maybe you're really good at baking and they like cookies or something. You know, you can make it happen. I love to travel. I make it work using air miles. I like to couch surf because I meet new people that way. You can be so resourceful. This might be something that you need to look at when it comes to your creativity. So it could be a mental block. It could be like just about like visibility, being seen and heard and being creative. It could be blocks around what you think you need in order to be creative. So please like work on being resourceful. Being resourceful is a great thing. It gets you into the frequency of having what it is that you want and doing what it is that you want to do before having the wealth to buy the studio and the supplies and the you know, it's like it starts with the feeling. It starts with the mentality. It starts with being creative first because you are the creative force, and then the universe comes and meets you. But you have to take the first step. It's all a mindset shift. And then this Page of Wands in reverse could simply be, maybe it's not actually the right time and you're just feeling blocked. I do believe in divine timing. Don't block yourself from doing things because you're convinced that the conditions aren't like, they might not be ideal. Yeah, you could be right, they're not ideal, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do the thing. Like really check yourself, right? And sometimes there are true blocks to what it is that we want to do, and there is a divine timing factor. I use travel as the example. I love to travel. It doesn't make any sense to travel right now. I just got back from a trip a month and a half ago. 2 months ago. Time flies. But, or no. Yeah, 2 months ago. I think. Yeah. Oh my gosh, my brain. It doesn't make sense to travel right now. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to manifest it. It's just like, okay, that's not the thing to be manifested right now. So for you, maybe you need to look at, okay, is there truly a legit reason why you can't do this right now? And is it you can't do it, or you can't do the whole thing, but you could start one part? Like what is the first step? Not getting the whole thing done all at once because you're being asked to have patience and to try to find some balance. But what steps can you take in the right direction? And how do you get into the feeling, the frequency, the identity of the person who does have the thing that you want or can do it, or I like to say will do it, because you will do it. You will do it. I hope this is helpful. I'm trying to think of another scenario that the Page of Wands in reverse might be, but it could be mindset and fears. It could be thinking you don't have the right resources. It could be a timing issue. You know that you can, that you technically can manifest what it is that you want. And now you're questioning whether or not you can in terms of your capabilities. But capabilities are developed through practice, through taking the steps. Maybe you feel like you're new to the thing that it is you want to do, and because you're not an expert, and maybe you're a perfectionist, I'm a recovering perfectionist, because you're not going to be the most advanced person in the room. I don't have tons of people on YouTube. I mean, who knows, maybe you're finding this like a decade after I posted and I have 1 million subscribers. Fantastic. Love that for me. But maybe you're feeling like, what's the point? Because there's barely anybody watching. Well, this is a great time to experiment, because you don't know what it is that people want to see from you, and you're still figuring out who you are, what you want to do, how you want to show up in the world and in your creativity, now is a great time. Now is a great time to take the first steps. So if you're feeling like a beginner and so you're blocking yourself from doing the thing, I would argue that in doing the thing, you start to develop your skills, your confidence. It shifts your identity. All of these pieces play into each other, but it does require taking action, even if it's just one step. I hope this helps. I am sending you so much love, and I'll see you in the next one.